What's up, everybody? This is Tony Parlays introducing you the first episode, number one, numero uno of the Bet Slip with Tony Parlays. I'm extremely excited to introduce this show to you on the Cheap Seeds Network. Shout out Chase Brown. And we're here and we're ready to go. NFL season is starting. I love talking gambling. And what better way to talk gambling than to have a podcast by myself and just ramble off a bunch of bets that I'm going to place and hopefully win money on. Thank you guys for joining the first episode. I'm so excited to get started. Hopefully this is a weekly thing for you guys to tune in and maybe take some bets of mine. You can either fade me, you can either play with me, and hopefully we win some money together. So let's just get started. A little background on myself. I've worked in sports media for 3 years. I'm a retired sports media man now at the young age of 26. So I started out right after college at the Beaver County Times. Shout out Beaver. Shout out Noah Hiles. I also I covered high school sports there. I was a videographer there for a couple years. And then I moved on to 93.7 The Fan sports radio show in Pittsburgh. I covered Paul Zeiss. I didn't cover him. I produced his radio shows, late nights with Paul Zeiss. Pretty much saw everything with that man. Hopefully taking some of his techniques and bring them into my show. And then probably doing the opposite of what he used to do in some of his radio shows. But I'm pretty excited. Like I said, have some experience in the sports media realm. So hopefully you can take my words for, seriously. And I feel like I know what I'm talking about. But if you guys don't think I'm not, who cares? Fade me then. But some more about myself. I've been a Yinzer since day one, since birth. Steelers till I die, Penguins, whatever. Not so much Pirates. It was fun for 3 years, 13, 14, 15. That was pretty freaking cool. But Yinzer till I die. Expect a lot of biased Yinzer takes on this show. Randomly, out of nowhere, I'm going to say the Steelers are going to win the Super Bowl, even though if they're 8-8, I don't care. That's just me. So expect that on the show. Take it for how you will. But moving on, I also am a big sports gambler, obviously, having a gambling show. But one thing, I've been a gambler before gambling was legal. Not going to shout out to, the bookie that I used to have. I know I probably shouldn't even be speaking upon it. But yeah, I used to do it before DraftKings, before FanDuel, before Barstool, all that crap. So I consider myself somewhat a little bit of an expert. And then also one thing to know about me, my gambling, I am a sucker for good odds. So expect a bunch of good odds I'll be throwing at you guys. I love the juicy, I call them juicy odds. Anything plus 250, plus 300, plus 500, give it all to me. I will risk it for the biscuit. And then to close off on my background, I'm just a big sports fanatic. I will, literally talk any sport with any person. If you're a tennis pro and that's all you know, I'll find a way to talk some tennis with you. So, anything you want on this show, any sort of gambling you want on this show, feel free to tweet me at Tony Harpel, even though my name is Tony Parlays on here. And, anyway, text me, whatever you want, I will bring onto this show. I love new ideas. However, we will start things off with the NFL because that's starting this weekend. Week freaking 1 is here. Finally, I'm about to subscribe to Red Zone for the year. I cannot wait to hear Chris Hansen just tell me that we have 8 hours of football ahead. So yeah, that's pretty much me. I know a lot of you listening probably already know me and probably already knew that. But for the ones who don't know me, that's how it's going to go. I'm a big sports guy, and I'm excited to get things started. What to expect with this show. This isn't how the show is usually going to go. This is kind of a little introduction of how things are going to be and what you can expect. One big thing, fun bets. I'm not going to give you the typical straight, spread bets. I don't like the gambling shows that simply just look at a list and give you the best spreads that they see. I want to give you fun bets. I want to work on giving you promos that DraftKings has. I'm going to shamelessly plug DraftKings and FanDuel. I'm not getting paid for any of that, but I'm going to plug their promos because I love betting on promos. And then props. I'm going to give you props, a bunch of props, some weird props that you probably didn't even know existed. That's my specialty. I want to give you guys something that you can't hear elsewhere. You can't hear on another gambling show. So expect that. Expect a bunch of fun. I call them fun bets, but those are the ones that I love to hammer down and put a lot of money on. So expect that coming out of this show. Like I said earlier, Yinzer takes to the full. I'm going to give you a couple Yinzer takes. I'm going to tell you every week the Steelers are going to win. You don't have to bet on that, but I'm going to. I'll bet on the Steelers every single week. I don't care who they're playing. So expect a lot of biased Yinzer takes. However, I do consider myself a very reasonable Yinzer. Like I'm not going to say fire Tomlin after week 1, sit Ben after week 3. Put $1 million on the Steelers to win the Super Bowl. I am reasonable, but I am biased as well. So just expect that, I'm better than the typical Yinzer. I'm more reasonable than them. However, I still am a Yinzer at heart. Also, I'm going to talk a little fantasy chatter with you guys. Little fantasy football, a little tidbit here and there. Who's on the waiver wire, who to grab, who you should trade. A lot of people in my fantasy league don't like trading with me because, I just offer the fairest trades and they think I'm trying to steal their best players for my worst, but that's not the case. So we're going to talk a little fantasy as well, but really focus on gambling here and then throw in a little fantasy maybe in the beginning of each episode. And then obviously at the end of every show, what my name is about, Tony Parlays. We're going to end the show with the big payday parlay. Every week, you're going to expect one parlay I'm going to give you. I'm going to really look into it every single week. And I hope you guys place this bet with me because I promise you, Scouts Honor, HSO, I'm going to put $10 every single time on this bet. I promise you guys. So it's not like I'm throwing these picks out there and not taking it. I actually will be taking this parlay every single week, the big payday parlay. If some of you remember or listened or are moving on to this show, my last podcast, Underpaid and Overrated, shout out Michael Garr, shout out Noah Hiles. I always gave a parlay, and I'm going to bring this onto this show, and that's going to be the main event in this show because I love doing that, and I'm going to bring it onto here, and I'm going to focus on that a lot. So little rules behind this big payday parlay every week. Like I said before, $10 bet every single time. You can put more, you can put less. I don't care what you put down. That's what I'm putting down. $10, pretty simple. It's not going to hurt to lose, but it's going to feel really good whenever you win it. Also, always will be 3 picks. No matter what, I'm going to give you at least 3 picks. If I'm feeling it and I've hit 2 in a row, 2 weeks in a row, I might add a 4th. I might add a 5th if I'm feeling it. But I'm guaranteeing you 3 picks in this parlay, 100%. I'm not going to lowball you with a 2-pick plus 120. I promise. That is the lamest thing. I'm going to give you juicy odds and at least 3 picks. So expect that. And then also, just to remember, after all these come out, I know a lot of gambling shows, they give you the pick. You go into the week. You either win, you lose. They go into the next episode next week, and they don't review what they did the prior week, or they don't really talk about their losses. I think of the Wolf of Wall Street in this moment. I want to be judged on my losses and not my wins because there are so few. I don't know if that's the exact quote, but that's what I'm going for here. So just remember, it's not about the overall record with parlays. It's about the overall profit. So if I'm 1-3 in parlays, but I'm profitable, don't come up in my DMs and say that my parlays suck. Because if I'm profitable, that's a winner in my book. So just remember that. If I come out and give you a losing record, but I am profitable, that's still a success in my book. So let's make some money. Let's get into it. This is going to be a little short episode. This was an introduction to how things are going to go. I promise you there'll be more content. I'll have way more information in the next episodes, but this is kind of just like a little intro. And also, it's week 1 in the NFL season. No one knows what the hell is going on. So I'm taking it light. But I'm giving you a big payday parlay. Week 1 or not, No matter what, I don't care if it's the beginning. I don't care if we know anything about the teams. You're still getting a parlay from me in this episode. That'll be a little teaser into next week and what you can look forward to. So let's go. Let's kick right into it. Week 1, NFL season. Let's go. We got the Steelers plus 6.5 at Buffalo. And first parlay of this episode, of this show, granted. And of course, I'm going to start with the Steelers. Like I said, biased, very biased here. But no, for real here, Steelers plus 6.5 at Buffalo. You're giving Big Ben a touchdown to work with? Are you kidding me? Hammer that anytime. Whoever they play this year, if it's a touchdown, if the spread is plus 6.5 for the Steelers, hammer that every freaking time this year. I don't care who they play. Don't give Ben a freaking touchdown to play with. So we're going Steelers plus 6.5 at Buffalo for the first pick. Second pick, the LA Chargers money line at Washington football team. I just side note, hate the Washington football team name. That I want to just say Redskins. So maybe, just for this podcast, I can do whatever I want. So the Chargers versus the Redskins. No, but really, we got the Chargers money line facing the Redskins. I'm not really sold on this football team. They got Fitzpatrick, who has literally been on a million teams in the last 4 or 5 years. A journeyman. He's awesome to watch. He has a few good games. However, I don't know if I'm sold on him being the promise for this team. This team struggled last year. They do have a good defense. Don't get me wrong. However, they're facing an LA Chargers team who has a great offense, a great starting quarterback in Justin Herbert, and I'm excited to see what they do this year offensively. I know they can hold up on defense. That will be the biggest question this year, if their defense can hold up. However, I'm big on this pick. Money line, it's an even minus 110, both teams. So it's kind of just like a pick 'em. I'm going to go LA Chargers, and then I'm going to shout out Caleb Malone on this one. He is a friend of mine, a huge Charger fan. If you ever want to see something funny, go on YouTube and maybe type in his name and watch him cry when he was 9 years old about losing to the Raiders. I don't think they're losing this week, though. Caleb won't be crying this week. Chargers money line against the football team. That's a must. And then to cap it all off, pretty easy here. Green Bay minus 2.5 at the New Orleans Saints. Now, Green Bay right now is minus 3.5 on a couple of the sports books I've seen. We're going to tease it a little bit, minus 2.5. I usually like doing that so they can win by a field goal, and that's still a winner in my book. 3.5 kind of scares me because they have to win by a touchdown. Green Bay minus 2.5. Reasons here: reigning MVP Aaron Rodgers is on the Green Bay Packers, so automatically lean towards them. And Aaron Rodgers is going to be playing pissed this year because of everything that's went down in the offseason. Even though he might hate the Packers organization or the executives, it doesn't matter. He's still going to go out there. He's still going to play his best. He's hoping to get on a better team next year, I think. At least that's what I think based off of what I've seen in this offseason. So he's really going to play hard. He's pissed this year. He got some of his boys back. Randall Cobb is back. And I feel like he's definitely going to have a huge year, maybe not MVP. However, it's going to be a big year, but let alone a big game week 1 against the New Orleans Saints. And, okay, another thing. We got the reigning MVP playing pissed off, facing Mr. Finger Licker, Jameis freaking Winston, a starting quarterback in the NFL again. We saw what he did with the Buccaneers. It wasn't freaking pretty. I don't know what Sean Payton did to Jameis Winston in the offseason to make him a starting quarterback again. I don't think he's going to do much. I don't think Jameis Winston is a smart football player. He might be athletic, but that's about it. So we'll see what happens this season with him as a starter. I know Taysom Hill is going to be, involved a lot in the lineup. However, that's not selling me. The Saints are not selling me. So hammer Green Bay minus 2.5 against the Saints. When you put all 3 of these together, you got plus 499. Juicy. I told you, I'm going to give you juicy odds. Plus 499. A $10 bet pays out $59.96. For all you math wizards out there, that's a profit of $49.96. So I told you, I'm going to give you juicy bets. It's just $10. If you lose the $10, whatever. If that actually hurts your bank account, you probably shouldn't even be betting to begin with. So if you win the $10, you're going to win $49.96. Take your girl out on a date, a cheap date, Eaton Park. Maybe get the salad bar. Maybe you could afford an app if it actually hits. So that's the big day part. That's the big payday parlay. Like I said, this is going to be a short one, guys. I am so excited, so excited to get started and, get some bets out there, get some interaction with the fans. I'd love to get you guys in my DMs or texting me any ideas of what you have with the show. Maybe texting me saying that you want to be on the show is probably not the best first idea to give me. However, I would like ideas on what you'd like to hear. I'm going to try to make this a quicker podcast. I don't want it to go 45 minutes. I don't want it to go an hour. I don't even want it to go 30 minutes. I honestly want it to go 20, 25 minutes. And I want a lot of content within there and something you can listen to on your way to work. Or if you're work from home, you can listen to in 20 minutes while you're working. Whatever. I'm just really excited. I'm hoping you guys like it, and I hope to keep this thing going all the way through the NFL season. And if this is a success, we'll keep on going. I don't just gamble on football. I don't discriminate. I'll gamble on whatever sport you give me. Tennis. I've literally bet on darts. That is something not a lot of people can say. So whatever sport you want me to bet on, I'll dig into it a little bit. And I'll give you guys some smart picks. Well, at least I think they're smart. So that's it. That's the big payday parlay. That's what you can expect every single week. That's one thing I will always give you. Also, like I said, expect some other things coming on. I got a bunch of ideas. I'm really excited. But to close things out, I want to first and foremost thank you, Chase Brown, for giving me this opportunity. I know this is just me talking a lot, but this is something that I've really, really wanted to do for many years, and it's finally being put into place. And the only reason it's being put into place is because of Chase Brown. It's because of the Cheap Seats Network. So I'm very, very, very excited for this opportunity, and I thank you, Chase, for this. And like I said just 5 seconds ago, the Cheap Seat Network, that's where you need to be for your podcast. This awesome podcast network, a bunch of different shows. It's not just sports. There's a bunch of movie podcasts. I see some trivia on there from 2020, some movie trivia, a bunch of the guys talking movies. And then we also have Good Human by Abby Wellner talking about life and all that's good in life and health and mental health and all that fun stuff. So it's a little bit of everything. Cheap Seats Network is definitely the podcast network you should be listening to. And I'm happy to be added to it. So like I said, every Thursday morning, expect a release of this episode or of a new episode. This is the Bet Slip with Tony Parlays every Thursday morning. So right before the Thursday night game starts, heading into the weekend, you can expect me to give you any weird pick, any sort of prop, all of that stuff Thursday mornings. Tune in. It'll be posted on Cheap Seats Twitter account. It'll be posted on their Instagram account. You can access it any other way. That's the best thing about this network. Our episodes will be on literally every channel, so you don't have an excuse on why you can't listen to it. There's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. You also see the video of my pretty face on YouTube if you'd like. I'll throw little edits in there as well to make it fun, so you're not just watching me talk. So yeah, there's going to be a bunch of options for you to listen to this. You don't have an excuse not to. At least give me a try. Give me one more try into next week. I'll show you a full show, and I promise you it will be exciting. This isn't going to be like every other podcast, gambling podcast, where you just spit off picks and you move on. I'm trying to make this entertaining. I really appreciate you guys listening to this first one, and let's win some freaking money, baby. Let's do this. I'll talk to you guys next week. This was The Bet Slip with Tony Parlays. Peace.